Good afternoon, everyone. I hope you're doing well. So in this video, I'm going to be discussing 5 areas where I think could be a gold mine moving forward into 2022, 2023. So I've talked about in previous videos, up and coming economic crisis, recession, whatever you want to call it. Regardless of that, we're going to touch on 5 sectors or niches that I think will be good moving forward. Whether you're researching whether to start an agency or you've got one running and you're not sure if you picked the right niche, I'm going to give you these 5 sectors and I'll run through exactly why. I've got experience in all of them. I've done well in some of them I haven't done well, but I've seen people that have done well. My execution might not have been there. That's the thing. I didn't have the passion or the love for it, etc. So without going into too much detail on this very quickly, I just want to say that most people look at IT, most people look at finance when they look at recruitment. Traditionally, that's where the money was, but it's become so saturated. So many people are looking at, I don't know, like the ones that pay the highest fee are not exactly the ones to make the most money in starting an agency. If you're established, sure, you can rake it in because you're getting, more market share. There's more liquidity in the market paying recruitment agencies. However, if you start off in IT, you might think, oh, if I make one placement, I make £10,000. It isn't like that. It's very hard to get established. It takes a long time. So I prefer high volume sectors or sectors where the fees are relatively low, but I can put, consistent placements in over and over. I can put 10, 15 a month. Yeah, I can put 8 in this month and I've got 6 already rolling into, August. That's perfect for me. I can cash flow my business. I operate, without employees. All the cash flow is down to me. So without rambling on too much, I'll go into the sectors that I think could do well and why. I'd love to know everyone's thoughts on it, if you've got experience or if you feel I've left any out. So the first one is the automotive sector. Now, if you look around you, you've probably got cars on your driveway or in your garage. The automotive sector is a high volume, in demand, sort of, I would say blue collar, but it's actually an engineering recruitment position. There is a massive shortage all across the country. And what I love about the automotive sector, it's like no other sector. You call up, straight talking. Do you need a mechanic? Yes, I do. Do you need salespeople? Yes, I do. How does it work? Now, it's very easy to win clients if you're good on the phone. This is not an email sector. This is one you call up and there's benefits and there's sort of detriment to being in the automotive sector recruiting. So I felt like I got messed about a lot in the automotive sector. However, when you do get a client, man, they bring you repetitive work. And that's a good thing. I need 5 mechanics. Word spreads around. These dealerships are all linked together. I mean, I've recruited for some of the biggest brands, and you think, how the hell can I win something like that? And that was very early on in my career. Automotive sector is very good. The fees range quite low for a mechanic sometimes, especially with the independent non-dealership ones. You can end up earning, I don't know, I've seen low as £800. I know there's a company that does it much, much cheaper. But you put an advert out, you've got a mechanic, bang, straight to work. Money talks in this sector. It's all about salary as well. So I'll go into the second sector. I've banged on about it. My current agency is in social care and healthcare. So why I think healthcare and social care, people say, oh, I've got to get in with the NHS. It's not the case. There's 40,000 plus social care, private health cares. So old people's homes in this country, in the UK, let alone abroad, America, wherever. So it's a massive sector. Yeah. They are 24 hours staffed by various clinical and non-clinical staff, meaning care assistants, non-clinical, administrators, non-clinical, finance managers, non-clinical, site managers. I've recruited cleaners, caretakers, cooks, chefs, you name it. The sector is massive. It's the second biggest recruitment sector in terms of money spent. Yeah. And it is underserved, in my opinion. I went into it and I thought, how easy is this? There's no competition. It's recession proof. The fees are either, high volume. It's got the best of everything. It suited me perfectly. It's very email based, I would say. It's very hard to navigate once you learn. It's quite different from other sectors because this isn't a job where those people are actually, sitting in the office or the phone. It's care home managers you might be contacting. It's recruitment managers. It's business owners. So you get a good feel of, it goes well very quickly. And believe it or not, I've coached many people into, going into it, and they haven't looked back. They've tried other sectors, it hasn't worked. I said, try social care. Give me 2 weeks. Let me know what happens. And they're like, yeah, I'm sticking with this. It's fine. So the third sector is going to be emerging markets. So what I mean by emerging technology, emerging markets, I'm going to basket it up and you can take your pick at it. So oil and gas is still there, believe it or not. And I'm going to put that in there because I can recommend the sector. My biggest fees have always been in the oil and gas sector. It is predominantly overseas and it is kind of who you know in that sector. So if you do have experience, go into it. So emerging tech, AI, yeah, data, systems administrators. It touches on IT. I mean, we talked about automotive. You could look at driverless cars, technology around that. That could be a long-term play. So that could be, I want to start my agency slowly. I'm studying, I'm working, see how it goes, build a name. It's very niche. You kind of have to know your stuff in a way in that sector. But data is growing. AI is definitely going to be growing. And if you want something for a long-term play, I would highly, highly recommend it. And ties into the fourth one, which is engineering. Engineering is absolutely beautiful. I would say no matter what you go into in engineering, there will be a dramatic skill shortage. Yeah, that could be software engineers, but you must have connections with candidates. It's this market is very candidate driven. I wouldn't even bother going to a client first. I would pitch to candidates. What are you looking for? How can I help? Are you looking for a job, etc.? Move in. I'm looking for 60,000. I'm looking for this job title. I want it working from home. If you can find them that, you've got your placement. That's it. That's how I would operate. So the engineering sector, you could look at potentially architects in a way. That's a very, very good and underserved sector. And it's big fees in that, I tell you that. You could look at pump engineers, mechanical engineers, electrical engineers, automotive sector, you can tie into that. Whatever you've got experience in, most of these apply to people, or if you're looking to recruit, always recruit in the sector that you've got experience in. That's what I would recommend personally. And I'm going to tell you a quick story. So the fifth one is my favorite, closest to my heart, the one that I made my name for myself and my money in, which was languages. And languages is probably the best. Sorry, I had a phone call come in. So languages is the best sector for me. And I'll tell you why. It is, people even say, can you even recruit in it? That's how unknown the sector is. There is no competition. I'm not operating in the sector, apart from one client that I'll always recruit for. There is no competition whatsoever in this sector. Absolutely none. You couldn't name me one language agency. When you do, they're rubbish anyway. So it's underserved. If I lost everything, I would literally set up a language agency, and I know for a fact I'll bill that day. Maybe that day, maybe that week, I will get placements in. That's how, but I've got knowledge on the sector. So what I mean by languages is you need an Italian, I don't know, lawyer or solicitor. You need a French accountant, yeah? Or you need a customer service agent that speaks Korean. Good luck with a visa. Trying to find someone with a valid rights to work with that. But this is a sector where I know a lot of people have touched on and they're like, wow. I haven't told too many people about it, but it is predominantly, I got known as the German recruiter. So I've still got, massive links to any company that's ever hired German. Probably after I was so in depth in the sector when I started my first agency, I could tell you, I knew every company that would ever need a specialist language. And it is something that do not overlook. If you speak more than one language, you're in. I used to lie to clients and tell them I could speak like 6 languages, and no one ever questioned it. If I heard they had a British accent, I would tell whatever language they're recruiting for, I'm bilingual in that language. So I've got links, I can communicate with candidates better, etc. So it is relatively, the beauty of it is it touches every niche, and it gave me so much experience in so many niches. So for example, I touched on oil and gas. That was a French company, an African company, a company in UAE, Oman. So all those companies I've literally recruited in every sector, with the premise of it being a language role. Yeah. So I that's why I got my sort of knowledge or experience in, mean, I've even recruited for, I won't say the name, but I've recruited for customer service roles for the biggest automotive company, or one of them, pretty much all of them. So I touched in every niche. So I had engineering recruitment. I've gone into languages. So I recruited for those companies that I did anyway. So don't overlook it. It is the easiest, I would say. I wouldn't say the easiest to win clients, but I would say there's no competition. If you say recruitment's saturated, yeah, it's saturated in recruitment, in IT and finance. Look at the other niches. It's underserved. There's so much cash out there. And I wish I could start 5 agencies because I've got so many good ideas. But I'll stick to my social care. But I hope this video has been somewhat helpful. And if you've got any questions, I'd love to hear from you. So please let me know and take care.